Welcome Entropiq fans, welcome to the second video that I'm making about PUBG. This one is going to be about recoil control, and I'm also going with a more casual approach to it. Please let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and if you also want me to cover anything else, please let me know. Let's go over the basic knowledge that you need to know to control the recoil. First thing, let's go over the options. Sensitivity, high or low. I think low is better in PUBG. The reason for that is very simple. By the way, please use a big mousepad to play PUBG and any other FPS. It's going to be much easier. And you can go even with lower sensitivities and it's still very easy to control because you have a lot of space. Now imagine this is your high sensitivity, this is your low sensitivity. A very small mistake on a high sensitivity will completely lose you on your recoil control. And a very small mistake on the low sensitivity is going to be very easy to control. You're not gonna be lost on your control. So I think low sensitivity is going to make it much easier to control the recoil. I use 31 and 28 for ADS. You'll have people go as high as 45, even 50 with 800 DPI. And even or as low as 25, 20. So it's in those ranges. Use what's more comfortable, but I would say going into lower sensitivity is going to be much better. The next thing is this aim ADS button. Do not use it. The problem for this aim ADS button is that it actually ADS is slower. So let me show you. You can see that I go into the aim and then I go into the ADS. So it's very, very slow. If you compare this to simply having this button on, now I can ADS much faster. So have this dedicated button for aim and ADS. Do not use this aim/ADS. Now I get also the question about toggle or hold ADS. This is a lot about preference, but you'll have people saying hold is a little bit faster, which it is, but you'll have pros playing with either or. The last thing here you can play with is the colorblind mode, and of course the color of your crosshair. I use something very bright that I can remember. I tend to switch it every couple months so that I can really focus on it. And for this colorblind mode, I like Deuteranopia. The reason for that is that it changes the color of your red dot. I use this purple red dot with full brightness, and I can see it in the sky and not lose track of it. Even when I'm shooting someone and there's a lot of blood, I can still keep track of it because the colors are somewhat different from the blood and the red dot. You can also, with page up, page down, change this. So you see I'm changing the color and the style of the crosshair, but I really like the simple dot. You can also have the holo on, but the problem with the holo is that it's so bulky that you'll lose a lot of vision. If you have any questions, again, in the comment section, I'll answer anything. Now, go over the recoil itself. For the recoil, you can see that there's three things to control. You have the horizontal recoil to control, you'll have the vertical recoil to control, and you'll have that little gap that happens every time you shoot. So you can see if I'm shooting multiple times, very close, but this gap here is always bigger than the rest. And obviously the further away you are, the more of a problem this becomes. So you'll have to control the vertical recoil with muscle memory and pulling down constantly. So that's something you can practice in training ground. We'll go over it later. We'll have the horizontal recoil to control. That is really reactionary based. So you just react to whether your gun is moving left and right. And for that last little gap, the first little gap, you'll have to control it by either pulling down very hard at the beginning or by crouching. And also this is something that I'm going to go over in a couple of minutes. Next, I'm going to talk about movement. Obviously, movement affects the recoil in this game. So when you move and you shoot at the same time, you can see those wave patterns that start appearing. This is because your character, when it moves like this, your recoil, your red dot goes up and down like this. So that's something that you need to be aware when you're moving. It makes it very hard to shoot. So if you can be standing, you'll get a lot more accuracy. Now, if instead of just standing, you can even crouch, it reduces the recoil. So you can see recoil is much easier to control when you're crouched. So always try and crouch. This will help tremendously for your recoil. Now the next thing is leaning. So leaning, when you're just leaning, does affect slightly the recoil. You can see that it's going slightly to the left when I was leaning left. Isn't too big a, it's not too dangerous and not that much of a problem. Problem happens when you start shooting and leaning at the same time, like this. And you can see that there's like a banana pattern that started appearing, and you'll need to take care of that and pull down against that. And I'll show you later how to do that also. Don't forget that your gun is 0 to 100 meter. What does that mean is that you're gonna hit the target when he's 100 meter from you. So if, for example, I'm really close, you can see that the bullet comes out of the barrel, so it comes under the red dot. So close range, always aim a little bit higher. For example, if I want to hit this dot here and I'm really close, I'll have to shoot a little bit higher. Okay, now let's talk about something a little bit more interesting. How to control the recoil with the mechanics that the game give you. There's 3 important things. Obviously, crouch, counter strafe, and the attachments that you're putting on your gun. The first thing, crouching. Obviously, crouching makes it much easier to control the recoil because you have less of a recoil. But there's one more thing that happens is when you crouch and you shoot at the same time, it helps you control the recoil of your gun because your character goes lower, so the gun automatically controls itself. You see right there, I was able to shoot 2 bullets twice at the same place. So it helps a lot with this gap here. Instead of having a gap here, if I can just start crouch at the same time, even if I do it badly, see that this is the first bullet, second, third, and fourth. So you'll stay on the target much more easily. And if you do it well, you'll get a pattern that looks like that. Second thing is counter strafing. So what is counter strafing? You can see right now the buttons that I'm using on top of my camera. Basically, when you can stop your character. You can stop the character movement when you're going left and right, just like this, by pressing the opposite direction. You do that a lot in CSGO. What this helps is recenter your crosshair, so gain a lot of accuracy a lot faster after peeking or when you're moving. So let's say I'm peeking a corner, I can stop and then instantly shoot someone. Now you might have just witnessed something. When you ADS a little bit too fast, and you start shooting a little bit before your ADS, what happens is one bullet might go really, really off the chart. So, I mean, it can be hard to reproduce. So play with the timing and look what happens. So if I press the same button at the same time, see, it can produce this little pattern that is a bit annoying. So shoot a little bit after pressing ADS. So something like that is going to be a bit more accurate. Now the last thing that I said is attachments. Obviously know your attachments. Very important. There is no better attachment, even though I do prefer angle grip or vertical grip to play with the M4. Just get used to whatever you're playing and know what the attachments is going to do for the recoil of your gun. That's the most important thing. Alright, now let's focus on the different trainings that we can do in practice, so in training mode, to get better at recoil control. So I'm going to keep this part muted so that you guys don't hear all the shooting in the background. Okay, so take your favorite gun. So I took an M4 and your favorite attachments. I did not put a tip because I think practicing grips is much easier when you don't have a tip. When you have a tip, then it just helps you control the recoil too easily. So I get my M4 and I'm going to find a wall and we'll start with vertical training. So if you're not familiarized with PUBG and the recoil, start like this. What you'll want to do is just create a line with the recoil. So what do I mean by a line is just shooting. And you don't want you want to create kind of a pattern like this, but it's okay if it goes left and right. We don't care about the horizontal right now. We're just trying to build up muscle memory for the up and down movement. Just do like that. It's okay if it goes left and right. Okay? Just so that it doesn't think about an imaginary line, or what you can even do is find a line like that and follow the line. It becomes even easier. Okay, if you go left and right, again, you just want to focus on pulling down. When you get used to this, try and go a little bit further away, and then you can try again. Then you're just trying to follow the line. Okay? It's okay if it goes left and right. Okay, so the second thing you're going to try and do is horizontal training. So horizontal training, what you'll do is you'll get a target or a point, and you'll just try and put the red dot on the target and not leave it. So let's say I'm focusing on a point, going left, right, up, down, but I'm trying to focus on keeping the point, my red dot on the point. Okay. Obviously, the easier it becomes, just start falling back down. You can also like find someone that is AFK, aim at their head, and try and shoot them. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is, when you're good with vertical and horizontal training, we'll just start practicing the recoil, all of the recoil at the same time. So what I like to do is I have a little routine that I use as a warm-up routine also. I'll find a target, an AFK target, then I'll shoot him while standing. So I call that like just quick scoping, and then you fire a couple bullets at him. You can go further away if it's too easy. Then what I'll do is I'll be crouch, and I'll do the same thing. Now we're gonna practice one more step. We're gonna practice what I called crouch cancel. So crouch cancel is when you crouch, and it helps you control a couple bullets of your recoil like that. So instead of pulling down instantly, we're gonna let the recoil for like 4 or 5 bullets, and then we're gonna start pulling down. So you'll see that when I'm doing this, I'm aiming slightly higher than the person, because when I crouch, I want to be on the head of the person. So I have my crosshair higher, crouch, recoil, crouch, recoil. Just like that. Okay? You're just practicing this. You're practicing crouch, quick scope, ADS, shoot. Crouch, quick scope, ADS, shoot. Okay? There's one more thing that you can practice, and it is really good when you know exactly how to do it. It's going from crouching to standing, but doing it fast. How to do a fast crouching, I'll explain this in another video, but basically, if you input a command of moving, a moving command, and then a crouch, you'll see that your character can stand up and down way faster. Okay? I'll explain more of this in a future video, but when you're playing on ridges, it's very, very easy to just stand up, shoot the person, crouch back down, stand up, crouch back down. If I'm not inputting any movement, it looks like this. My character is super slow. What happens if you do that? You'll get headshot way past. You're gonna think that you've crouched behind the ridge, but you're gonna die. Someone's gonna be able to shoot you still. So when you're using crouching like this, fast crouching, it becomes much easier. So actually, there's a special place that I like to practice that. Let me show you. Sorry. Okay, so I like to use this little barrel right there, and what I'll do is I'll crouch and I'll stand and I'll shoot someone. You can see you can go very, very fast with fast crouching. But if you're not familiarized with the recoil in this game, do not focus on this. It doesn't matter. Just focus on stand, ADS, shoot, crouch, ADS, shoot, and then crouching and ADS shooting like that. Okay? Those are the 3 main things that you're going to want to practice. To all of this, what you'll add is leaning. So if you want to practice leaning, you can do something like that and just practicing leaning. So there's one thing that you have to keep in mind when you're leaning, is that little banana pattern. So what I like to do is just pull down in the opposite direction that I'm going to lean. So if I'm leaning to the right, I pull down in a diagonal down left, like this. So you can see it goes a little bit to the left, but when I'm on target, I can keep this red dot on target like that. Okay, so you see what I'm practicing here is crouching, shooting, and then leaning. Okay, this becomes a bit more difficult. What you can also do is so you're not going to quickscope instead. You're going to be always ADS'd. To me, this becomes a little bit more difficult to control the recoil because I'm not used to shooting like this. But in certain situations, it's going to be important for you to do this. Like you're holding an angle, you're waiting for someone to to cross whatever you're looking at, you're gonna have to be able to shoot this person like that. Instead of ADS shooting, already be into ADS and then pull down and shoot. So you're gonna do the same thing when you're crouched, person, and then crouch and shoot like that. And even if you want, you can already be leaning and practice shooting like that. So let me just grab more bullets and I'll just do a little summary for you guys. So find a target, practice quickscope shooting standing, practice quickscope crouching like that, practice crouch cancel and quick shooting. Now you'll want to do the same thing, but instead you'll always stay into ADS. So standing, crouching, and then fast crouching, and then shooting the person. This is like your basic. Now, if you want to go past that, you want to go one step higher, do also the standing and then shooting, either with the quickscope or without the quickscope. This requires, again, fast crouching that I'm going to show you in another video. And you can even add leaning to all of this to get used to that. Okay? If you did this 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day, should get you far enough to have a very decent control of the recoil in this game. Right? So, thank you guys for watching. This was pretty much everything you needed to know about recoil control. It's all about practice and muscle memory. So, if you have any questions, again, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And good grind, guys.